Oh crap!
Hey guys, I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Mechbox. Now today we're going to be checking out the AEG Snow Wolf M99. This gun is better known as the Barrett M82A1.
Yeah, that gun. This monstrous beast of a weapon. Pretty awesome, incredible rifle. Now, this weapon is monstrous. It measures 56 inches in length. That is massive. But it only weighs about 13 or 14 pounds. That's pretty light for a weapon like this. The real thing is going to weigh in at over 30 pounds, which is heavy. I'm pretty sure most people don't want to carry around such a heavy weapon on the field. So, Snow Wolf was kind enough to make this gun pretty light for Barrett considering. So, because this is inside the Mechbox, we're going to go inside the Mechbox. But first we're going to check out everything outside of the Mechbox too, like the motor, the hop-up, the barrel, cool things like that, plus a few things that tie into those. So let's get to it. Now, at the back of the gun there are two pins here, top and bottom. The top one's a little longer, it's about actually twice as long. They're both silver and they both tie into getting into the inside of the gun. To actually open the gun up, you just have to remove the top pin here and slide the entire top of the weapon forward like so. Now, I've noticed this pin can be kind of tight sometimes, so I like to take a small tack hammer and help me nudge it out. Then you just pull it out. Now you can simply push it forward a bit, and the entire top of the weapon will lift off. Now the battery compartment is huge. You can fit just about any kind of battery in here. I'm going to show you this 8.4 volt large type battery that can fit really easily in here. Now that can just sit in there. You got enough room easily to fit at least a 10.8 volt large type battery in here. So that can accommodate just about any kind of spring, all the way up to an M200 spring if you got the right parts in there. Now, as you can see here, it does have a mini Type 2 Mini connector, and it does kind of use one of those newer car fuse style fuses that airsoft guns are starting to switch to. Now the hop-up is just like any M4, M16 style hop-up. Can take any kind of M16, M4 upgrade. If you want to throw in a new chamber, you're welcome to. Go right ahead. The stock one, however, is metal. There's a pretty hard buck in there to accommodate the 400 FPS average on this gun. And the barrel is 650 millimeters long. That's about as long as you can get in a stock gun. Now keep in mind, you can fit up to about a 900 so mil barrel in this gun. It has exceptional potential. You can install just about anything you wanted in this gun. Now there are a few parts that fit around the barrel to make it a little more accurate and stable inside of the weapon. The long silver tube there is aluminum, more or less, and it fits around the end of the barrel. It doesn't act as a barrel extension, it simply helps to keep the barrel level and straight with the flash hider. The little black ring just above it and the two black washers help to keep the barrel stable inside the inner barrel, just so your gun's a little more accurate. Now, let's start taking apart the gun and get down to the gearbox and motor and check those out. Now, just taking this apart, the motor heatsink plate on the bottom has holes going through it, and it has a large adjustment screw, so it makes it a little easier to adjust your motor, and it'll stay put, unlike a lot of AEG and older model motor blades. The motor itself is actually pretty nice. Looks really clean, well made. It's got a gold shaft, doesn't have any stickers on it or markings or anything. It's got a lot of torque when you twist the pinion gear, so that's pretty good right there. You can easily pull it up to at least an M150 spring with ease. The pistol grip has brass screw holes, so those aren't going to strip out. Big plus, that way you don't have to replace the pistol grip after a while. Now, it's a little unusual for a gearbox shell like this to not have any reinforcement at the front. That's just a little strange. The gun's shooting pretty hot, about 400, so I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have that. You can see it does have SW printed on the right side of it for Snow Wolf. The gearbox also uses torque screws instead of standard fillet screws, so that's kind of interesting. Not a lot of gearboxes do that. It also looks like it has, I believe, 7mm solid metal bushings. That's a plus. Now, on the inside of this thing, the bushings are a little different. pretty sure the 7mm, they're kind of an odd size. They look like 7 and 6mm, so they're just a little different. They kind of have a cross on the inside, so that's a little odd for bushings, but hey, they work. Whatever works, I guess. Got a lot of brown grease in there, so it's pretty thin grease. It's not like the normal Chinese thick stuff. It's like a kind of a soupy brown grease. It's kind of unusual. Now, the guts of the gun are pretty unusual. Snow Wolf is actually a very interesting company in how they do things. They've got slightly higher quality than most other Chinese internals, so that's pretty cool. Let's take all these out and just see how everything looks. The spring itself is a little shorter than most springs, but it feels like it's got about an M120 or M130 power. I chronoed the gun earlier. It was shooting about 370 at 400 feet per second, so I don't know. It's probably about an M120-ish power. The spring guide is metal, no bearings, so this is a little more durable than any stock plastic spring guide. Now, just as I try to compress the cylinder assembly, it's getting a virtually perfect air seal. Small leak at the nozzle, but it's hardly anything. You're not going to lose much there. Excellent air seal. Of course, there is grease all over the cylinder and tappet plate, so that's actually a good thing. I'm really pleased that companies are starting to grease the tappet plates. That's excellent. The piston's a little unusual. It's kind of a lighter red. The second to last tooth is removed, so that's a plus. The guides on the piston have quick distribution holes here, so it quickly gets the grease distributed when you're firing the weapon. The piston head has 6 ports. It's pretty nice. You always want a ported piston head. Those help no matter what. The piston head actually does have bearings, so I'm kind of surprised about that. And the O-ring's good quality. Everything's pretty well greased. The cylinder head is pretty tight inside the cylinder, so that's good. Getting a good air seal there, you're not going to lose any FPS. It's a very dense material, the plastic is, so that's good. It's not going to break on you. I've actually had these plastic cylinder heads break before, and that's not fun. The cylinder is brass, no ports, so that's a good thing. The air nozzle is a standard M16 style air nozzle, so that's totally upgradable, just like the rest of this. The tappet plate's pretty flexible, so that's a great thing. I'm surprised a stock tappet plate like this is as flexible as it is. The switch assembly is also a pretty nice touch on here. It's a little nicer than other Chinese brands. The internal trigger safety here is metal, so that's a plus. It's not going to break on you when you're trying to pull the trigger and it's unsafe and you're trying to get it to fire and it's never good, so metal, more durable. The soldering on here is pretty nice. It's a little nicer than most other Chinese companies. The wiring's about 16 gauge and has a pretty thick coating on it, so that's good. It's a very durable coat. It's not going to break on you or anything. Running out the back of the gearbox, about 2 inches out of the back, is a mini Type 2 connector that hooks up to another cord that hooks up to your battery. Now, the gun is not shimmed the greatest, but it's a Chinese gearbox, so you can kind of expect that you're going to need to shim it yourself or have another tech shim it for you. It is okay though, it's running just fine, it sounds alright, it is whining a little bit, so it could stand some improvement. As you can see, there's this soupy brown grease everywhere, so you probably want to re-grease it yourself. It does have a sector chip or a tappet delayer, whatever you want to call it, so that's a plus. Obviously this gun is not shooting very fast as far as rounds per minute or second. You know, I was getting about 10 rounds per second on the stock battery, so this thing does not really need a sector chip, but it's kind of a nice touch that they threw one in there. And it's also nice that it's metal. I've seen plastic ones, and they tend to not be as durable as the metal ones, of course. Overall, the internals of this gun are actually quite surprising. They're really well tuned, getting a great air seal. Everything's phenomenal. For $280 at AirSplat.com, this gun is a bargain. Now, on the next episode of Inside the Mechbox, we're going to actually test this weapon out in an outdoor setting. So we'll be actually shooting at a human-sized target, a live human, which is most likely going to be my teammate Camo. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to actually try this out stock, then later on we'll throw some upgrade parts in it and see what we can get it to do over time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23, signing off.
Oh crap!
Hey guys, I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23. We're out here at the Evergreen Airsoft range, we're going to test out the Snow Wolf M99 SW02. We're going to be testing this thing with 0.3 gram rounds today. Now, this gun is only shooting about 270 to 300 feet per second with 0.3s. It's a little lacking in FPS. And we're hoping the range and accuracy of the longer 650mm barrel will make up for that. So let's give it a try. My teammate Twitch will be the target today. We're going to test this at 50, 100, 150, and 200 feet. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, the Snow Wolf M99 SW02. Remember, the internals are completely stock and we're using 0.3 gram rounds. Alright, 50 feet, excellent accuracy. Now to the 100 foot mark. At 100 feet, I noticed the gun starts to curve right a little bit, so obviously the accuracy is a little lacking at 100 feet, but you can still hit a man-sized target. Alright, the 150 foot mark. Alright, at 150 feet, the accuracy is a little lacking. We're only able to hit him about 50% of the time. Alright, the final distance of 200 feet. We got the hop up cranked up pretty high with 0.3s, so let's see if he can even reach out this far. Alright, 200 feet, no chance of hitting your target. That may be hit 1 out of about 10 times, so it's not reliable past 150 feet. So, okay accuracy, 150 feet. You really would expect better accuracy with a gun with such a ridiculously long barrel. 650mm barrel, dang, I kind of hoped for more. But hey, if you can hit a man-sized target at 150 feet, your airsoft gun's doing okay then. Now, in the next few episodes of Inside the Mechbox, we're going to upgrade the living heck out of this thing. That's interesting. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23, signing off.